I'm very curious about that kind of world because I've never been in a position where I had a client as a producer. I've only been someone who has been co-creating with another artist or producer, not
Right.
as someone who is there as a on a service level. Okay, I'm
Right.
here to
Yeah.
provide you these tracks that
Yeah.
you can then make your song, you know?
Yeah.
How do you is that a nature that you enjoy? Like
I
being
love
in
it.
the back.
I love it.
Do
I
you?
mean, that's how I started, basically.
Uh-huh.
You know, I feel like me making my own shit and being an artist later, that that was that was a very later on kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, or I mean, not very later on, but I guess like a few years in between, I wasn't really putting out my own shit, but I'm I was usually just wired to be the producer or like be the collaborator that would help kind of like the artists find what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love it. I think it's great. I think the reason why I also do my thing, and one of the reasons why I started doing my thing, was to understand the artist better.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause it's fucking hard world, and it's a tough process, and there's so much emotional investment in it that I wanted to be at the other side, and I wanted to feel like what it's like to be vulnerable, what it's like to get a mix back and not know what to do with it, or if it's done or not, or like me talk about my own shit. I feel like that's something that I think as a producer is crucially important to do, because it'll make your process to dealing with the artist and to providing the artist what they need so much better, because you'll get it.
That was such an unexpected answer, Juan. Because actually, what I expected was the reason why I thought you kind of turned to also releasing your own stuff under your own moniker is because I thought there was some sort of an outlet that you needed, something that you thought was lacking and felt a little almost like frustrated about working with clients as a producer. So things like, I have these things that I want to fight for, and I can't necessarily do that when I have a client to satisfy. So therefore, I'm going to turn to releasing my own stuff to just have my own ego and let it be, you know?
Well, what you say, I think there's a part of what you say that is true as well. Like, I don't think those two things are exclusive. And like in the creative world, there's so much of like the ego baked in to everything that we do, and how we communicate with other people, and how we experience art as like in comparison to how other people experience art, or how the client experiences art. But I mean, I think it was a result of both. I think it was a result of like, okay, I want to see the stuff that I'm doing out, and I want to have control, So part of it was I wanted to do that so that I could have control over what I was releasing, which sometimes, like, working for people, you won't see a song come out in a long time, like you'll see a song come out a year later and it'll feel quite old or quite different from what you're doing in the moment. But I feel like me choosing to do my own shit was both a combination of like, okay, I want to see how it feels, and I also want to have control, and those two things coming together. But I also think, like, kind of like jumping off to what you were saying, it is a service industry, but I also think that the reason why I do my own project too is it's my business card as well, you know? So like if I want to work with someone, I'll just be like, hey, like if you dig my shit, let's work together. Here's what I do. And it's very, like, I'm kind of a little bit all over the place musically. Like, I don't really have a niche of stuff. Like, I love pop music. I love experimental stuff. I love film scoring. I love, like, music overall. I'm a musician at the core.
And it translates to your portfolio for sure. I can hear it, the diversity in it. It's great. Yeah.
I like to have fun with it. And so for me, having my own shit too was as a way to be like, hey, this is what I do. And then if someone calls me to help them with their thing, they'll know that even if it's a service industry too, I'll do my best to inform the song as best as I think that it can be, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a dance, you know? So like I understand for sure that only my like experience of what the song should be is not just the right thing. Like, but I feel like the artists that also hire me and that get me to do some of their stuff, they will also trust me to be like, hey, if you are not vibing with this, like, let me know. And I'm also very not precious when it comes to doing shit. When it comes to doing shit overall, I'm not very precious.
Yeah.
But even more when it comes to someone else's song, it's not mine, you know? But if I feel like it's gonna be retroactive to the song to do a change or something, I'll speak my mind.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll say, hey, look, I think this, and I could be wrong until we try it out, because obviously, like, the only way to know is do it. But if I have a hunch of like something that is going in a certain direction and I know that it's going to be detrimental to the song, I'll speak my mind. So it's not really like I'm ever like,
they're not complying with my
exactly.
style.
I have to have an outlet because I'm not doing. I feel great and I feel happy with what I'm doing and with what I'm putting into like. That's the most important thing for me. Whatever thing that I jump on and whatever thing that I get called to do or whatever thing that I accept to do, I'll give my 110%, regardless of what it is. Just because I feel like that's what it should be, you know?
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, I hearing your explanation and your kind of rationale behind it all, it certainly doesn't sound like it's your ego talking. It's from a place of genuinely wanting the song to come out great. You're just utilizing your expertise, really, rather than you being this kind of body of ego being like, I'm the producer here, so I'm digging this song at this style, and you have to comply with me. It's not that. It just when you're saying something, when you're speaking out about your opinions, it's because you know it's gonna do some great for the song. Then
and it's also accepting when I'm wrong too. Yeah, you know, it's being like, hey, like I also try to, like, in sessions too, never be like your idea or my idea or like the moment that is said, there's sort of like a keeping score that starts where it's like, oh well, my idea worked and yours didn't, or like I never want people to feel like every single idea is valuable, and depending on the time and place and depending on how long it'll take to achieve the idea, there's sort of like a meter of like what I'll gravitate towards, and if I don't, I'll speak my mind. But if they it's a dance, it's all a dance, and I like, to me it's about it's about the collaborator, you know, that I'm with. Because I can do my own shit by myself.
Yeah.
And I do it a lot. And I enjoy doing it, but I also feel like there needs to be always, like, whenever it's a collaboration, it's just not mine. It's like the rooms. And it's what's happening in the place, and it's what everyone is reacting to, and like how comfortable everyone is feeling. And it's all like, yeah, it's all really weird. Like, we're literally talking about us making things that make the air wave, and our hairs in our ears like vibrate at that same fucking shit, and people feel things. That's just weird.